info. Right, so today we're out on the little bass boat that you'll, if you do come and fish with Extremadura Predator Fishing, which is what Craig will set you up with. And a few people are a bit worried about boats and things like that, you know, and as you know, me and Neil have fished with boats before, so we are familiar with a lot of stuff, but some of this is new to us, but it's really simple to get used to. Craig gives you a bit of a run through, so we'll just sort of show you what you've got at your your disposal. First of all, you've got a nice little bass boat, all kitted out with little cupboards and drawers and things like that, carpeted for a bit of grip and stuff like that, so it's really nice and tidy. Console here for driving, fish finder up front, electric motor, so we've got a few different ways to fish, some good technology to use, and it is about using that technology to help you find fish. You're on the big water, it's all new to you. You're going to get some pointers off Craig, he's going to show you, you know, try this spot, try that spot, but you can find them yourself. We've found fish already and, you know, and caught, so we'll have a little quick run through. Neil's going to show you how to use the outboard engine, pretty simple, and that's the one that you're going to cover most of your water, 15 horsepower. I think that's all you're allowed to use in Spain if you're not qualified.
Okay, I'll just talk you through the basics of driving this particular boat. A bit different to ones that I've used in the past, in that I've normally got a rear steer control just on call it tiller.
Yeah.
But with this one you've got the console with the driving. So this is your throttle, your gear, and everything, and controlling simply a steering wheel, just like you do with a car, and then it just steers like a car. So we need to got the engine up at the minute. We've just been in a small bay using electric. So engine's up at the minute. There's a up down button on the throttle. We'll just drop that back down. Drops it into position, and starting it up couldn't be simpler. We're up and running. Just let it get up to speed a little bit. There's a button underneath. You need to lift button and push it into gear. Forward is forward and back's reverse. It's as simple as that. And then you just hit throttle. Just slowly take it. So when you want to stop, you need to drop it back into neutral. Engine's still running. And then once you've dropped it into neutral, you can then use reverse, and it's just simple. Drop it back and you're reversing. Obviously you only really need to use reverse when you're manoeuvring. You don't really want to be going far on it. Boat's designed to go forward, shape of boat's designed to go forward, so it's as simple as that.
Right, so when you pull into a little bay like we just did, or you find some fish, one good tool is this little front mounted electric motor. It's a little bit more easy to manoeuvre. You can kind of hold it on spot. The big engine's a little bit noisy and a bit fast for just holding it in one place. So with these kind of things, they're a really good tool for holding you in a spot or just slowly working through a spot. Not a lot of people have these kind of things, you know. Not a lot of people have boats, but even people with boats don't have these. But so we'll just run you through quickly how to use it, and it's a little bit of a not hard, but you just got to get the knack of actually how to get it in and how to get it out. So basically, as it is now, it's just locked in position. It's not going to move. There it is, solid. It's not going to drop in by anything. And what you've got is this rope here. And basically, give it a good tug. We all like a good tug. Good tug, and it'll go straight in. If you do it half-heartedly, it don't want to move. You don't want to slide along. So when you do it, give it a full welly, and it'll go up and in one motion. Hopefully. So that's now in the water. We're controlled by this foot pedal. What you've got is some buttons on the side. We've got off and on, which is pretty much self-explanatory. So you've got a wheel speed here, which is going to control the speed of the motor. So what I'd say to start with is just put it on something like 1, which is nice and steady speed. You can do all this with your feet, by the way, but at the minute I'm just showing with your fingers. This pedal is what's going to control the motor. And what you've got, if you just look on top of here, you've got this arrow. And if I push the pedal one way, the arrow's going to move. And if I push it the other way, it feels like you're pressing forwards and backwards on a button, but it's actually controlling that, as you see, left and right. So get it into a position where you want to do. Forwards is a good position to start with. On speed 1, nice and steady speed. It's never going to go fast and tip you over or anything, but put it in position 1 so you can see what you're doing. And then when you press on, which is like so you can still do with your foot, the engine kicks in and we're now starting to move at a steady pace. If you were to move with control, 2, 3, 4, you're going to go a lot faster. So you can use that to your advantage to move a little bit if you've drifted off a mark. If you're on a mark, slow it right down so you're only on like 1 or even a half, or even if you want to do, just turn it right off and hold it in position. You use it with a wind or you know, the wind comes against you, you can sort of face your boat by using this pedal, left or right. And I'll show you what you do easy with your foot. So your foot's going to be in this position. You look at your arrow on your motor and put it where you want. You can just now this boat's moving where you want to do. If you just have a look at the finder Neil, you can just see on the finder the boat's actually spinning at the moment because I've got it turning left, and so the boat's just spinning on a circle. You can increase the speed, slow the speed down, straighten it back up again, take it to where you want to do. In between moving from spot to spot, you can use the large engine. You'll take this out of the water. So basically what you need to do is back to this switch here and turn it to off, which is the middle one. And then get your cord ready. Now the important part, I'll just show you again Neil, the important part is this arrow. That arrow at the minute is pointing slightly to the right, wants to be pretty much there. And what that'll do is it'll position your actual rotor blades. So just using your foot pedal, get into the position that you want. And then you can just cover the foot pedal just to hold it in that position. And then we've got to give it a good yank and pull it straight up in one manoeuvre. Take 1. And when it goes down, you'll hear it click, and that's it. Now if you were to do that wrong, and that arrow wasn't in the right position, what you'd have is this blade that would be either down or to the wrong side, and when you come up here you're going to get to all sort of pickle. So that's the important bit. And it's as easy as that. That's how we use a front mounted electric motor. Right, so what we're doing now is we're going to try and find some fish. When you're fishing a big bit of water like this, unknown to us, like I say, you can speak to Craig, you can get some few pointers on where fish are, and you can use your own sensors and ideas and stuff, fishing bays and bridges and drop-offs and all these kind of things that that's going to throw fish at some point. The other thing you can do, you can try and use the technology that's we've got, and on board these two, on board this boat, you've got the 2 lowrance fish finders. He has also got hummingbird finders. But on this boat, we've got these 2 lowrance ones. So what we've got now at the minute is Neil on a bit of a searching mission.
I'm just following. We've just come through this area just before and found fish. Just found them again actually. So we're in 10 metres of water, and this front 10 line at bottom there, you've just got all these fish. So you've got 2 metres solid of fish at bottom there. And this is what you're looking for. You're looking for balls of bait fish, and arguably you can even point out individual fish as well. I'm just going to circle this sort of area. We're in an old riverbed. It's a flooded valley that we're fishing, and it's an old riverbed that runs along. It's plotted on Craig's maps, which is spot on, so you can find it easy.
Yeah, so what we've got actually here as well is we've got a bit of a split screen going on. You can see a big ball of bait fish there, and on your side imaging you've got more bait fish, and it's actually showing us on the left side of the boat that there's more fish. So and again, big cloud. So you've got to use this to sort of pinpoint where the fish are. It's not easy when you're in the middle of the lake to sort of give yourself a, oh, I'm actually stuck in the right spot because it's such a big lake. But by using this technology you can see where you are. And we're hoping to also find obviously a lot of bait there. We're hoping to see some larger blobs, some larger archers that's going to sort of point out to a predator. So this is we're using the second finder. Currently we've just got it on just on one screen. Neil's sit on 2 screens, but this one we're using the map at the moment, and you can see the contours of the riverbed. Contours of the landscape, and this blue patch here is actually the old riverbed. So that's highlighted straight away, and straight away has been a good feature to look at the riverbed. We've been finding shoals of bait fish, various other contours that you can have a look at, but so far, you know, it's only like day one for us. We're having a look at this riverbed. You can see where Neil's plotted the pink line has gone round. He's spotted some bait, he's come back again, and like I say, we're having to see if we can spot something that looks like predators.
It's not too difficult to just sort of keep your eye on that front finder, and you can plot your course along and keep an eye on this one as well, but also keeping a good look round for anybody else that might be around. There's a few more boats on here today, so you do need to keep a look out as well while you're doing this. It's easy to get lost in finder and just concentrate on what you're doing. But I can keep having a quick look at front one just to see where I am in relation to where I know these fish are, and then we can find them up finder, knock engine off, drop electric down, and use that to keep us on spot, and we can see if we can jig some fish. Just turning back round into that area again. Fish jumping out. Gonna come round here, Paul. Yep. Just coming back into that same area. We should be able to see. Come back into them fish. There we go. All I'm doing is I'm just using the front map where I know these fish are. All these indications here, quite possibly concentrations of bait fish. Not as big as the patch we went through just before. Again, there's plenty down there to keep you interested, and you know, it's worth dropping a jig down and having a look and see what's on it. Loads now there. So it looks like they've just moved off a little bit. We're just out, looking at the front map, we're just outside that area where we were, so they've just moved off. And they're just moving out towards right on the edge of the river.
Right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to drop the electric engine and try and control this fishing a little bit easy with that. So I'll drop it in and I'll show you a few controls on the lowrance. Now the lowrance finders, as like most finders, have got, you know, heaps and heaps of options and things, but I'm not going to give you a massive demo on how they all work, but I'll show you some of the basic functions that we've been using that will help us. If you ever get stuck on one of these, the pages is quite a good button to use. If you press the pages button, it gives you a list of all these options that you can sort of do, and if you look closer you can see kind of split screens. Yeah, so we're going to go into the sonar and we're going to have a look. We only need to turn it on first. So we're going to go into it, press enter, it will load up the screen. It's not currently working, you can see the screen's all gobbledygook. Press the menu button when you're looking for it. It's currently set on sonar stop, which is what we did when we took it out of water last time. We turned it off before we took it out. Now we're going to turn it back on, so press enter, that cross goes off and you're back to normal. You can press menu again and you're back to there. You'll see the sonar starts to work again. Currently it's just set on 2 meters, which is no good for where we are, so we need to change that to auto. So again, press menu. It's actually it's set on auto range, so it's actually picking it up now. Look, it's just automatically just found its depth, and now it's giving you an actual reading of what's happening. So we can go back to pages button, or menu button's going to get you back. And what we're going to do is pages, we're going to set it up how I've been using it, which is the split screen of both those images. Press enter. We're now going to get the map on here. Thank you. We've got the sonar here, so we can see what's happening. And that's what you can see. We've kind of drifted away from where we were originally finding bait. We need to come back at some point and find where the fish are. Cool. And now turn the baby on. Try and find some fish.
See if we drop into the river.
Yeah. So what you'll find as well is, you've just seen that drop off there. What you'll find as well, if you're going too fast, this image doesn't refresh as quick, your ping speeds and all these kind of things. So you need to take it steady, slow it down, you'll start to get readings, and you can see straight away there, archers, more fish there, and obviously Neil's finder as well has got all this on, he's going to be spotting that as well. So straight away these archers, possibly bigger fish, possibly predators, some up in the water. The longer arches are giving you a bit of a readout that it should be more of a fish. It's as the sonar passes over it gives you a lot of different reading. So what we're going to do is drop down and give it a go and see if we can jig some fish out, see what happens.
Don't ask me what it is.
Right, before I even got a chance to sort of show you what we're happening, we've just looked at this spot we've found. Neil's already in. What is it?
Little
Pikey.
Yes.
Little pike.
Only a little one, but it'll do.
There's a pike there. So we're still on that spot. I'm actually just going to try and film showing you how we jig it, how we drop us low down and work it, but Neil's already straight into a fish before I'm setting the camera up. Pikey's pikey. And that's third species for El Spania. And this is what we call a lively one. It's a nice colour, isn't it? It's like a greeny colour. Look at back at fin.
Yeah.
Is that just my glasses?
No.
That's fantastic. Look at that. And that's L. Esoxlucius.
Only a nipper, but all over them
Right.
little balls.
Chuck it in for you. Chuck it in there. I'll take a photo of that. It's nice. I'm going to try and show you what Neil just did. Fish on the bottom, as we've explained. Currently nothing really in mid-water, so you need to work out your depth. It's roughly 10.5 metres down his bottom. Yeah, so we're going to drop his lure down. You need to work out what it is. The best thing to do is drop your lure down in front of your fish finder. And you can see that line that's just dropped down there. That is actually my lure. And if I keep it still, I get a nice reading back. And it's showing me my lure's there. If I drop it again, you'll see the lure's gone down. So pretty much in real time, you can see it's a faint line. That's because I dropped it fast. But you can work out where your lure is. If you lift it up, you drop it back down, you can see what your lure is. So in relation to where these fish are, I'm currently at 6 metres. I need to get down to about 8, 9, 10. I need to either bring one up off the bottom or get in the faces. And you've got to work out what's right. So again, drop it down a little bit more. See where we're at. We're at 8 metres. Drop it down a little bit more. Now this is a different style of lure fishing to what you'd be used to. I can't really see it. It's possibly that line there. So if I just bring it up, yep. So I'm just right above him. If I just keep jigging, turn the GoPro on just in case I get smacked. You're basically jigging right in their faces there. If you're not sure where your lure is, bring it up, and there it is. So you know where it is. Drop it back down. Of course, the old-fashioned method would be to drop your lure down, let it thump the bottom. When your lures hit the bottom, you know where you are, and then crank it a couple of turns to lift it up off the bottom. So both ways you can find the bottom, but this way, using the technology, you can see where your lure is and what it's doing. And now it's just a matter of trying to jig one in the faces. You're hoping to see some big arches in this spot, and if it kind of turns yellowy colour, it means you're pretty much right above it, and get excited. And what you'll find sometimes is you bring your lure up, you jig in, you bring your lure up, and you'll see a line shoot up off the bottom, and then just get ready to hit it. And this is like, I mean, do the Swedes call it sharp shooting or something like that? I don't know, I'm not up on all these technical things, but this is basically what you're doing. You're picking fish out and dropping it on the nose, and you know, likewise, you know, you don't have to be down the bottom. You might see a mark at 6 metres, for example, so bring your lure up to 6 metres, shove it in its face, and see if you can tempt it to take your lure. We're currently using just like 3-inch, 4-inch soft shads on like 30 gram jig heads to get down, because we're fishing quite deep. This is metres, not feet, so it's like 1 metre is like 3 foot roughly, so 10 metres is 30 foot. So if you kind of work that out quickly in your head, 6 metres, 18 feet. So there's something on the bottom. Neil just had that pike.
That's where I got in that.
Yep, Neil, we're right down there. And what we'll sometimes do as well is, between us, with what we've been doing, is one of us is fishing at, we can see the fish on the bottom, one of us fishing right just above him at 9 metres. Somebody else might fish at 8 or 7, a little bit higher up, just to see if, you know, and I might drop it down, for example, from 6 down to 9, back up again, and Neil might just keep it down there, slow jigs, and between us we're just switching it back and forth to try and find out. And if Neil keeps catching fish, I do the same method. If I keep catching fish, then Neil switches to what I'm doing. Simple as that. Also, at the minute, Neil's got natural coloured shad on, like a bleak colour. I've got like a fluorescent green colour on, so we've totally mixed it up between us, and we're going to see what happens in a minute. Neil's catching more fish, so I should stop talking and do what Neil's doing. Pike, 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 pike. Nice fish, nice fish. That just came out of that bait shoal bait.
Yeah. That
Blake shoal. That's a better fish. That's a nice fish, that, mate. That came out of that bait shoal. I saw it come up. I'll do, mate, I'll do. That's a good fish. That came up and slammed it, mate, that. There you go. Nice Spanish bite. Just came up. I was fishing over a bleak shoal. I've been a bit quiet on it, and then this just came up and nailed it. I saw it come up on finder. Lovely. Obviously we're in Spain and it's a bit different to UK, so we just wanted to have minimum time out of water. But we've got a big net, big Savage Gear net, plenty of room to fish to swim, and it's bang on rate, so we're going to let it go straight away. Not going to mess about. Go on, cocker. Beautiful. Sit back on that spot.